men's basketball program head coach Eric Henderson, student athletes Zeke Mayo and William Kyle III. Press conference procedure will be, we'll do an opening statement from the coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. We'll release the student athletes and then come back to questions for coach. As always, please wait until you have the microphone before you ask your question. State your name and affiliation before you ask. Go ahead with your opening statement, coach.
Wow, that's a really good 8th seed. I'll tell you that much. Those guys have a lot of fight and have a lot of respect for Coach Springman, and I just really enjoyed competing against those older guys. Deshaun and Kareem in particular. We've had a lot of wars with those guys, and so just have a lot of respect for them. But extremely proud of our guys how they bounced back from a little bit of a tough start, and obviously we had a great finish to the first half, and our guys just did a great job of staying together, and I'm just really proud of them.
We'll go ahead. Questions for the student athletes right here in the.
Tim Hill, Rich's Summit podcast. Kind of a two-part question. I'll go with you, Zeke, first. Will Kyle, when he dunks, can you describe the type of energy that gives the rest of you guys? Because it's different from any other highlight dunks. When Will does that, it just really gives you guys juice. And then, Will, do you realize what you do out there when you do that?
First of all, are you talking about when he dunks on somebody or just one of the regular ones? 'Cause he's got both in the bag. But no, I mean, it gives us so much energy. It's an energy play, but I mean, 9 times out of 10, it comes off of a defensive stop, and then he just gets runs the floor and outruns their bigs. And I mean, we reward those kinds of things. So I mean, as long as he keeps doing that, he's going to keep putting people in the rim.
And to answer your question, I do catch myself by surprise sometimes, but I rep it out all the time. I don't like repping out layups. If I could dunk it, I could dunk it. That's probably my highest percentage shot when I'm on the floor. So every chance I get to, I'm gonna try to.
Will, just like when you're in the process there during the game, when you're like, okay, I want to jump 5 feet forward and dunk this thing. Like, was that a thought, or did it just come naturally to you?
To answer your question, it just comes naturally. I remember my first few weeks here, they were like, they said, "We seen you in high school. Why can't you do that now?" And so ever since then, they tell me to dunk it, and I rep it out, and so I feel like it just comes natural when I'm out there.
In other words, it's like his coaching. I model that for him. You know what I'm saying?
I had 2 quick ones. Well, how old were you when you had your first dunk?
I had just turned 14. Well, no, it was before my 15th birthday. Correction, yeah. I was 14 and about to turn 15.
Gotcha. And then for either of you two, did you realize that you had gone on a 24-0 run to end the half?
No.
I mean, we didn't really realize the offense was just, I mean, the ball was going through the hoop, but it all started on the defensive end. I mean, we got, I think, like 11 stops in a row. When we do that, I mean, when we're playing with pace, getting great shots, and, I mean, the result shows.
Marcus Trax, Mitchell Republic. William, I wanted to ask, last year you were very quiet in this tournament, and the 2 games didn't go the way you wanted to. Were you motivated to come out and perform better?
Most definitely. It was a lot of motivation, just knowing how those 2 games went last year. So I wouldn't say I wanted to redeem myself. I just wanted to be better.
Andrew Holton, Bergen's Register. Zeke, they went on that 13-2 run, and then you guys followed that up with a 24-0 run. Defensively, just what kind of changed with the mindset there? It seemed like you guys were really getting into them on the perimeter there.
Yeah, I mean, we were forcing, tough, unassisted shots. I mean, those are the shots we want to give up. And then when we get, first shot rebounds, it allows us to play a lot faster. And then, we wanted to, slow them down, make them play in the half court. And when we're getting great shots and the ball's going through the hoop, that's kind of what they have to do. And then on top of that, we're, pressuring, McBride, who's a great player. But that slows him down a little bit. And, I mean, we were all connected, and protecting the paint is the biggest thing.
Zeke, this is your 3rd tournament now. Your first one, you were playing off of Baylor as, the off guard. Last year, a lot of things were thrown at you. This year, you just seemed a little bit more comfortable leading from the front out there. Has things slowed down for you as kind of the leader and the front man for this team in big games like this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it all comes from just trusting my teammates and trusting my coaches at the end of the day. I mean, these guys are just as capable of making plays as I am. So as long as we're, moving the ball, the ball gives us energy. And, we're playing from inside out, getting great shots, and we expect to continue to do that.
Last question right here.
Zeke, Kalen Gary gets that and one layup there. I see your celebration with him. Just how together is this team looking to win 2 more games and get that tournament?
Yeah, I mean, we're right now we feel like we're playing our best basketball. So, and this is the perfect time to do so. But I mean, like you said, Kalen Gary comes up big on both ends of the floor. I mean, he arguably got fouled, but they didn't call it. Stuck with the play, got it back, puts the ball right back in the hoop for an and one. And I mean, the kid, he's gritty, and that's what we need.
Thanks, fellas. You guys can head back to the locker room.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead with questions for Coach. Oh, that's fine. You can start second row.
Sort of similar question I asked William. How good does it feel to see him play to the potential that he's capable of in a big spot like this?
Well, I think he's grown a lot, throughout the year, and just his maturity level, and even we were in Florida, and once we got back from there, it was our MTE, and I brought him off the bench, and I give that kid a lot of credit for, what, maybe I do need to change some things, and ever since then, his focus, his intentions have been unbelievable, and the amount of growth that I've seen is unbelievable, and it all has to do with his maturity, and I think that's why you see the results probably today than what you saw last year.
Coach, how did that 24-0 run in the half kind of set the stage for a more even tempoed second half?
Well, I didn't realize it was that, during it, because, we just wanted to continue to worry about the next play. I knew they were stuck on 21 for a while, and I wanted to keep them there. But I thought our energy, our celebration of each other, our ability to help each other out, because we weren't perfect, was pretty special. And then at the end of the day, we were getting, like these guys said, they know the way we want to play. We were getting first shot rebounds. And they only had one offensive rebound in the first half. And that was a big part of us being able to play with the pace that we did and on that run. And then they got 8, they ended up with 8. So it's probably why they probably had a little more even second half, 7 offensive rebounds. We didn't do a good job in the second.
Up in Brookings when they came to play you guys post game, you had talked about. I had asked you what you were going to show them from the film, and you talked about plays where they celebrated each other after big moments and hustle plays. Tonight that still seems to exude out there where they're doing that. So just talk about how that kind of team connectedness can get them through, some of those sluggish ruts that we saw a little bit in the second half there.
Yeah, I'm glad we have a few more to show, right? That's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, I think it's bigger than our basketball team. I think it's our school, our athletic department. That's what we're all about. It's not about one player. Of course, we've had several MVPs, and whether that's men's basketball, women's basketball, football, national champs, player of the year type stuff. It's not about that person. It's about the group. It's about the success that we've been able to share together. And certainly, I think it's important for our team, how you asked, but I think it's a little bit even bigger than just our basketball team.
We'll go last question right here.
Seemed like you guys were the more physical team throughout the game, especially in the second half there where they kind of cut into the lead. Was that something you emphasize, being physical maybe on the perimeter and then going down low in the second half there?
Well, we wanted to establish the paint, right? Last night when I watched, Oral Roberts, they scored in multiple areas, right? They made 3. I think they made 10 threes. They outscored South Dakota in the paint, and then they got to the foul line. And we wanted to really make sure we owned the paint. Certainly protect it, which we did a great job of. But then also we needed to score down there too. We wanted to win that battle, and I thought both Luke and William and Moores and Big Red, I thought gave us great minutes as well. And it's important that we want to be physical. But we knew they were going to throw punches too, right? They've been here before. A lot of those guys have been here before. So we were ready.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
I don't know what to say.
Joining us now from Oral Roberts men's basketball program is head coach Russell Springman, student athletes Isaac McBride and Kareem Thompson. Normal press conference procedure will be an opening statement from coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. We'll let the student athletes go and come back to questions for coach. Again, reminders, just wait for the microphone. Please state your name and affiliation before you ask a question. Go ahead with your opening statement, coach.
I thought, obviously, we got off to a great start. I think we had a 10-point lead at the beginning of the game. And then they went on an incredible run. I think at one point it felt a lot worse, but I think it was 24-0. We couldn't make a shot. And part of that was them, and part of that was just us not making shots. I thought we got good looks. And to our kids' credit, I mean, we're down 17 at the half. We cut the lead to 6 in the second half, but unfortunately, we couldn't string together stops enough. Kyle and Apple really hurt us, and we let shooters get separation at very timely times. But I don't want to take anything away from our kids. I thought they fought the entire night. I think when you're down 17, it's easy to pack it in with 20 minutes left. And I talked to you guys about this yesterday. This group has never done that. So I'm thankful for their fight. Obviously, I wish things had turned out differently, but I'm thankful for the way they fought.
We'll go ahead with questions for the student athletes.
Reem, for you, Tim Hill, Reaching the Summit. You've been a part of this program's biggest moments, from Sweet 16 run to the perfect season last year, ushering in Coach Springman's first year and being just a vital member of all of that. What are you gonna remember the most of your time here at ORU?
Just the relationships and all the relationships I built here. That's a main reason I came back. Coach Springman, Isaac, all the guys. It's just I have so much love for the Summit. I'll remember everything about it.
Tanner Castor, Brookings Register. There's been a lot of talk throughout the media and with some coaches about their opinion of this game being played in Sioux Falls, and there's a big crowd for South Dakota State. But you guys are the one who played in the game, so I was curious on your honest opinion. What is it like for you guys playing against? It basically feels like a road game for you guys. Is it something you hate? Is it something you love? I was curious on your opinion.
If I'm being honest, I understand, having it here. I do see where there's a vantage point of why they hold it here, but I'm curious as of every other sport usually, and I don't know if they have swimming, but I know baseball, if they win it, they have it at the J.L. Johnson. I know soccer wins it, they have it there. Economically, I do feel like Tulsa is a great city. I don't know if they have enough hotels, but I've been downtown Tulsa, so I do feel like they have enough hotels. I believe it should be taken to the BOK, at least, or brought up. The reason I do believe that is because, to be honest with you, we work hard as well, too. And we deserve to have, fans come out, too. It's not just people that go to ORU. Tulsa fans will probably come out and support us as well. But I'm going to be quite honest with you. Like, I do believe you win in the regular season and you have a bigger venue and you do have enough hotels downtown, and Tulsa has a beautiful downtown area, I do believe ORU deserves to host a Summit League tournament. And, the commissioner does a great job, and he's made the league what it is now. Not trying to take anything from him, but I do believe that we should have the Summit League championship, basketball-wise, downtown Tulsa. And I'm looking at some of y'all's faces, and y'all been to Tulsa too. I honestly believe that it should be held there. So, great South Dakota State team. They played hard. They played well. Made plays down the stretch. Can't blame it on the crowd. Can't blame it on the home court advantage. But I would love to see some gold and blue outnumbering some other colors too. So,
Isaac, Eric Bean Yankton, Preston Dakota. Coach Springman just mentioned how good of a person, representative of ORU you've been over your career. Just what does it mean for you to wear ORU across your chest?
when I first started playing college basketball, I honestly didn't think that I would ever end up here. And obviously, my life took some turns and everything. But I am appreciative to God. First and foremost, I want to give glory to God for Him directing my life and to meeting Coach Springman. To be honest, I met Coach Mills first, but this guy really, honestly, like the way I get emotional is because they honestly like saved my life. The people in the back saved my life too. And this man to my right, Kareem Thompson, they saved my life because the trajectory that I was going wasn't great. I put my identity in the game of basketball so much, but they told me I was so much more than just a basketball player. And I just remember my exit meeting at Vanderbilt, and the first few calls I had was Coach Mills and Coach Springman, Coach Patterson. And, I'm not perfect at all whatsoever. Everyone knows that. But ORU means so much to me, Coach Springman, Reem. So, I love this place, and, I die on that court playing for them. I'm not guaranteeing anything in the future, but I would say that ORU has made me such a better person, a better player. I know how to communicate with people now. It's just because of the people that you see in the back, on the side, and Coach Bremen and Coach Patterson and Reem. So I'm gonna be honest with you, like this place is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I appreciate ORU for everything.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thanks, fellas. You can head back to the locker room.
No, shot clock. All right, man.
All right, we'll go ahead with questions for Coach.
Coach Tim here from Region Summit. Just, talk about their resolve a little bit at second half. You guys were down big after that 24-0 run, but they cut it to 6. Those two in particularly really clawed back. Just their leadership and, just their gamesmanship out there really got you guys back into at least still having a fight despite the deficit.
Yeah, I mean, in the locker room at halftime, we finished, we talked about things that we didn't do well in the first half. And again, I thought offensively, we had open looks. We just couldn't make a shot. We talked about some things coverage-wise that we had botched up. But then when we were done talking about basketball, Oz McBride said, if you don't believe we can win this thing, don't leave the locker room. But that's the type of leadership those two guys have brought, every day. So I'm not surprised. And I told you guys the other day, the one thing that has been consistent, unfortunately, we've been inconsistent. The one thing that has been consistent is that they never quit. They never quit. It doesn't matter what the run is. I'm serious. It felt like 40 at one point tonight. I do think it was 24, but it felt a lot worse. And for them to go through that and cut it to 6, I just think speaks volumes to, who they are and what our team is really about.
Hey, Coach, Todd Buckingham, Region Summit. I had the opportunity to talk to you at the beginning of the year, and now your
Yeah, I know
first
you
year
look
as head
familiar.
coach.
It was on that side table over
Yeah,
there.
it was,
Yeah.
yeah. So just reflect on your first year as a head coach. Maybe I'm asking at the wrong time, but.
How much time do you have?
Just reflecting back, obviously it's way different.
There's so much that I've learned throughout the season. Basketball's part of it, but the bigger part is how much time and energy needs to go into the mental part of your players. And again, I'm not talking about basketball, it's just their mindset and how intentional you have to be about that, because their individual mindset creates a collective team mindset. And I know for me, I was spoiled with our program and everything about the program and the connection in our program. We have great kids and we have a great team, but the time and the energy that goes into creating a stronger connection is something that honestly, as an assistant, I wasn't aware of. And the number of phone calls, the number of meetings, the number of film sessions, individually, to just try to develop a mentality and create a we over me was probably the biggest thing that I learned. And I've always believed this. I heard this a long time ago when I was a public school teacher. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I think that's something as coaches we have to constantly invest in, because unfortunately, at least I know I have a habit of this, and I think most coaches do, you can see what needs to be corrected a lot. And you have to be mindful of the balance, right? Like if it's all heat and there's no ice, right? You're going to create division. You're going to create distance. And I just think that's another thing. Like I tell them all the time, I love them. Like I might get on a kid in practice and I'll make sure either I meet with him before I leave or on the way home, I call him. And then typically if I call him the next day, I meet with him face to face just to explain like, hey, it's not personal. I just want you to be better, but I love you. But again, the overall time commitment that it takes when we had 17, including the walk-ons, was much different.
I have to ask, you mentioned William Kyle, in the initial remarks. What impact did he have on just able to get loose and get some of those dunks? And
What
fire-
impact did he have?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very talented player. I mean, he's physical. He's simple, right? And I don't mean that as anything but a compliment. He does a great job getting post position, and then he knows where he's most effective, and he doesn't settle. And he's playing to get on the rim, and his development has been impressive. It's scary to think about what's coming when you go back and look at where he was a year ago. And again, I don't mean that disrespectfully. I mean that as a compliment compared to, what's coming. But I just think he does what he does best. And, you can have players that unfortunately end up thinking they should be doing other things, right? Like, I think I should do this. I don't think William Kyle has any desire to shoot a three. I don't. I think William Kyle plays exactly the way he's supposed to, and he does it every second he's on the floor. And I think that's a big reason why he impacts the game the way that he does. And the other reason is he takes tremendous pride in playing defense, not just one-on-one defense, team defense. He's constantly coming over to help and change shots. Like, I think it was Kareem Thompson took a shot in the second half, and he came over, and, I mean, the trajectory had to change so much. You almost have a 0% opportunity to score, but it doesn't show up here. So I think his value is more than scoring and rebounding and blocking shots.
We'll go last question right up front here.
Coach, in today's portal era, especially after a coaching change, there's always massive roster turnover. But, your first year, you get these two guys back. And not only are they talented guys, but they're leaders of men. What are you going to say about those two, 10 years down when you're celebrating big moments in your career and what, they gave to the program and what they gave to you?
This is going to be hard. I can't describe what those guys, I can't. They came every day. Kareem Thompson turned down 6 figures in NIL money to stay at Oral Roberts. Isaac McBride never put his name in the portal. The only thing Isaac McBride did, he called me 2 hours before we were scheduled to meet. He said, Coach, can I meet with you now? Sure. And I'm thinking this isn't going to be good. And he walked in, he said, hey, before you start talking, I'm coming back. I don't need anything, and I just want you to help me get better and win. In this day and age, that's extremely different. So I will forever be indebted to those guys. And I don't know what the future holds. Mackey's got another year left. I don't know what he'll choose to do, but what I do know is I've been blessed to be around him. And I don't mean that as a coach. I've been blessed to be around him as a person. He's one of the finest human beings I have ever been around in my life. And Kareem Thompson is the same. He doesn't have a bad day. He's a leader every single day. So I'm going to miss things that show up here. Scoring, rebounding, assists. But at least with Kareem, because again, I don't know what he'll do. I'm going to miss his leadership, but I'm going to miss who he is as a person. Like, I'll be honest, the other day, I'm in practice, and I was kneeling down, and my head really, really hurt. And I put my head down for just a second, and I shook it. And he walked over and he put his hand on me. He's like, Coach, you okay? But that's his heart. That's just who he is. You can't teach that, So I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to coach them, but again, to be around them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.